Good afternoon. Good morning to you in America. Hello Todd, hello Monkey, hello Rosario. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever the hell you may be. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks everyone who watched yesterday's video. Banging amount of views on yesterday's video. The top Blood Angels list from LVO was very, very popular. So, I'm not playing Heavy Intercessors in my current list. I'm back playing Sons of Sanguinius. Can you believe it? I mean, I don't barely believe it, but I'm gonna keep painting my Heavy Intercessors. I've spent a lot of time on these guys. See if we can get them finished, whatever. Sorry, let me turn the music down a bit. Hello, hello, hello. So who all in chat has played in the revised attachment? Are you guys liking it? Good morning, Marshmallow. I think there might still be room for Heavy Intercessors in a Sons of Sanguinius list. It just didn't make the cut on my first Sons of Sanguinius list. I'm gonna try a few different Sons lists, I guess. It felt nice to not have to play Shooting Army for the first time in months. Morning, Dirty Wizard, how are you? So I probably had the most fun I've had in 40k in my game on Wednesday night, just because it was like, it felt like I could actually play some sort of melee Blood Angels army. I had 1100 points of melee units in the list. So still had a contingent of shooting stuff in there. But overall it felt good, felt nice. Definitely going to try it out more than one time again. I destroyed orcs in 2000. Death Company of the Lamartes were wiped out of Stomper. Yeah, I mean, Death Company of the Lamartes is probably our best unit. A little bit sad Sangre Guard didn't really get any buffs this edition. Or this data slate. The consensus is people think Sangre Guard are still way too expensive. Like, I did a poll on the channel yesterday and it's like 80% of people are not even considering Sangre Guard. Sons of Sanguinius has breathed new life into Warhammer. Yeah, it is very frustrating. That's what I said before. It's like super frustrating if you have to go through like a 6-month period where your army is not good. Or the way you want to play your army is not viable. That's like the most frustrating time in Warhammer 40,000, honestly. And it does happen. It's happened to Blood Angels a few times in the last few years. I don't know why we're so difficult to get balanced, but apparently we are, because we always sit down at those 45% win rates. Maybe one day there'll be a release or a codex that really gets us balanced. But maybe it'll be 10th edition codex, I guess we'll see. Anyone got any hobby plans for today? Anything on the hobby table? Anyone do any pre-orders this morning? So there's a bunch of stuff up for pre-order again. Mainly... Was it mainly Age of Sigmar this morning? I don't play Age of Sigmar, but I do always have a look at the pre-orders and stuff like that. Afternoon, Eternal Crusader. Building Terminators. Lots and lots of Terminators has arrived. So you got your Dark Angels box set, huh? I was kind of half considering dropping the Aggressors from my list for this next week. Like, the Aggressors were fine, but I kind of felt like they were... Aggressors are a weird unit. They're like super great into monsters and vehicles, but they feel absolutely terrible. Well, it was like Ogrim or Bullgrim. They just got bogged down I guess that's like a design philosophy where like aggressors are very good against monsters and vehicles because of the sustained hits, but then they do very little against regular targets. What I think in reality it means is it can be very difficult to play your aggressors offensively or strategically, because you want to charge in with the aggressors, right? So you go for that charge in, which you will make, and then you'll probably kill a vehicle or something. But then you just get bogged down with chaff units, and you're kind of stuck for the rest of the game or until the chaff kills you, because you can't really get out of combat with your 4-inch move, and you can't really ever kill the chaff because you just have no damage. It all comes down to those sustained hits and being able to charge. Peter, hello! JT Money. He's going to play a game on TTS, figure out Sons of Sanguinius. Rosario's picking up the Dark Angels box. Quite a few people picking up the Dark Angels box. Just finished the End of the Death Volume 2. Oh, right. You're not very pleased about how it ended, okay. Yeah, a tough one. I mean, that's where the Red Thirst and all that stuff comes from, I guess, huh? The Black Rage. I mean, that sort of makes sense, I guess. Edges, you can't decide what colour helmets aggressors should have. I think I've seen some people do them with blue, and I've seen some people do them with yellow, because they've got like flamers and short-range bolters, which would emphasize the argument of like their close support or something. But I did mine with red. I think I wasn't entirely sure what colour helmets they should have either, to be honest. So I think maybe I haven't seen blue, maybe I'm lying, maybe I've seen yellow and red. I went with red, but I'm not entirely sure that's right. But I don't know, I'm not entirely sure, even in hindsight, like if yellow is right. In chat, what colour have you done your aggressors? Have you done a squad of aggressors or two? What colour have you given them their heads, guys? Ed needs to know. Raj says he's new to 40k, diving into collecting Blood Angels, and I'm bamboozled on what a decent 1000-point list would be. Do you plan on doing a beginner series? I probably will do a 1000-point list in the near future, because we've got the new points scores and stuff like that. So with the new points values, it's easy to make an like when you're waiting for a while for Games Workshop to give out new points costs, Raj, it can be a little bit of a waste of time for me to do an army list that like 2 or 3 weeks later gets invalidated. But we have just had the balance status slate for probably the next 3 months, so it probably would be worth I wouldn't do a beginner series per se, but I'll definitely do 1000 points, like a good 1000 point Blood Angels list. If you have no clue where to start, then I did make a video 2 weeks ago which was an 1000 point Primaris only Blood Angels list. That's live on the channel now, so you could watch that now if you wanted. And you know, there's only a few non-Primaris models you'd probably want to add to that, so if you looked at that today, that'll give you some ideas of what potentially you could use in the future or start looking at buying, because everything that I put in my 1000 point video, like it would be good stuff. Yeah, I haven't updated like just a generic Blood Angels list for 1000 points though since since for a while, I guess. So yeah, there would be some value in me doing that for sure, I think. Plus, like, a lot of people do 1000 point tournaments, right? So if you do a 1000 point tournament, it's nice to just know you're on the right track. Morning, Ardeen. Go for it, Painting. Hello, how you doing? On the Blood Angels Combat Patrol box, apparently the Aggressors have blue helmets. So, I don't think many people would have guessed that, but apparently Games Workshop think they should have blue helmets. I'm not sure I agree with that. I mean, like I said, my Aggressors got red helmets. And I think because I did my Assault Centurions with yellow helmets, and I think the Assault Centurions look pretty cool with yellow helmets, so I think if I was doing more Aggressors, I think if I was doing more, I'd probably make them red helmets to match the ones that I've done. But I feel like it would be totally valid to have them with yellow helmets. But hey, maybe we're all wrong and Games Workshop are right with the... Jason says the Primaris 1000 point video is a good start. Yeah, so I would watch that video. It's probably, if you go into my channel and click videos, it's going to be like one of the last 10 videos I did. It was like it was called something like building a Primaris only Blood Angels list. I mean, if you have no idea where to start, when I talk about like making a 1000 point list, I do try and break down some of my thoughts and choices behind the units. So I think even if you don't want to copy the units in that list, it's probably worth watching that video. Don't forget to hit the like button. How many likes are we up to? 21. Yeah, we're gonna struggle to get 100 likes today. Maybe more people will filter in. What's the relevance to the different colors? It just basically categorizes the unit. If you look, I don't know which codex I don't know if it's mentioned in the newest codex, but in the 9th edition codex, like, there's a whole page about helmet colors and what it categorizes. Do I have the 9th edition codex hanging out in here? Yeah, I do. Hold on. Let's see if it's here. Let's see. I'm sure there's a page. Yeah, it's like this tiny little section here. Blood Angel's strategic role is indicated by the colour of their helm, showing at a glance where they fit into the chapter's wider organisation. Command helmets and veterans are gold. Battle line is red, but bear in mind battle line's changed a bit as of late. Fire support, so that essentially means anyone with a big gun, right? And then close support. See, like for my Eradicators, I made them blue because, you know, blue is sort of for like heavy weapons. But then arguably Eradicators kind of fit into close support now because they only have 18-inch range, and I would say close support is less than like 12 or 18 inches maybe. Do Aggressors have heavy weapons? Not really. So yeah, Games Workshop painting them with blue helmets means that they think they're classed as fire support. Fire support over close support. But like, Aggressors either have Flamers, which is 12 inches, or Bolters, which is 18 inches, which is arguably close support. So there's almost no rhyme and no reason to it, or there's almost no right and wrong answer. You paint it the way you want to paint it, and most of the time it will be fine. My Aggressors with the red helmets look absolutely fine. I mean, like, I'm painting heavy intercessors at the moment. So technically heavy intercessors are battle line, so they could have blue helmets, but I mean, like, one of the guys is rocking a heavy bolter and stuff, so it's like, would these heavy intercessors look, and technically all of the heavy intercessors have heavy weapons, right? Because I think their bolt rifles are called like heavy bolt rifles. They're not standard bolt rifles. They're like a heavier version with more strength. So you could even argue like, well, heavy intercessors have heavy bolt rifles, so maybe they should be classed as fire support because their bolt rifles have long range as well. I think like 30 inches. But they've got, you know, they are battle line in terms of like they give 2 OC, so technically they could be battle line. So it gets very confusing and it gets very grey very quickly. So I paint my helmets the colour that I want them to be. And I don't always follow those 5 as well, because I run a lot of infiltrators. And one time I saw my Ultramarines friend had painted he'd painted infiltrators for Ultramarines, and he'd painted their helmets black, and they looked super cool. And I'd said to him, like, what's with the black helmets? And he was like, well, infiltrators are like your stealthy, deep strike denial, special operative type guys. And I just thought, if they're special ops, maybe they can have black helmets. And I was like, okay, cool. I mean, that was the justification. He just said that he fancied them to be black because he thought it would look cool, and it did look cool. So when I went to do my when I went to do my infiltrators, I just went like, alright, I'm just gonna do black helmets on infiltrators. It doesn't match any convention, but it looks cool. So I'm really pleased with my infiltrators. So the helmet stuff is kind of up to you. You can try and match what Games Workshop have done perfectly, or you can take a little bit of, like, what do they call it? Artistic license? It's the rule of cool, says Marcus. Yeah, pretty much. Matthew, how you doing? Did you get the third-party Calidus Assassin? Yeah, it came right off eBay. It's 3D printed. I think if you go to eBay and just search Calidus Assassin, it was one of the top. It was one of the top. It was one of the top results. Reziel, if you can't find it, I can link it to you. But it was the reason I bought it was at £6, and a Calidus Assassin was like £29 or something. So I was like, I'll have a £6 Calidus Assassin. Thank you very much. I don't typically run assassins all that much. Like, I prefer to just run. Same as, like, I don't run Inquisitors all that much. I prefer to just run Blood Angels. But I suppose if the Assassin's, like, super competitive and really good in terms of, like, winning tournaments, then I guess I gotta run it for a little while. I have zero clue what the chapter organization is since Primaris. Yeah, and also, like, you don't have to copy the chapter organization 100%. I painted all my Blade Guard in gold armor, because I thought to myself, Blade Guard look a bit like Sangre Guard. Sangre Guard obviously looked cool in gold. And Blade Guard are basically like Sangre Guard without jump packs, right? So I painted all my painted all my Blade Guard in gold armor. And I gave them red helmets. So they were... Technically that's wrong as well, because I suppose they're Blade Guard veterans, so they should be in red armor with gold helmets, but I just reversed it, because I just thought to myself, I think that'll be cool. And it'll be unique, and at the time I just painted a bunch of guys that were red, so I wanted a break to do some, so I painted them gold. So yeah, I wouldn't get too hung up on if the colours are 100% canonical, or at least I don't get too hung up on it. Miles! Are we sticking with the Sanguinius detachment for the next game? I think we have to, Miles. I mean, I think the unit that I think I might drop is my Centurions, because I think they're too one-dimensional. They don't have enough attacks, so when they get bogged down by chaff units in combat, they get stuck in combat, and that's what I don't like about them. So I was thinking maybe we lose the Centurions and replace them with... I'd like to replace them with another melee unit, but I haven't worked that out yet. But, yeah, I mean, the Centurions do kill vehicles. They do kill monsters. So there is an argument to just have them because they do that job very effectively. I just kind of feel like they always end up being stuck, like, fighting something where they're inefficient against it. Apollo says, I'm currently building some new G-Stealers, just planning on beefing up my Tyranids. Okay. Etsy has multiple prints for 2. Archangel says, I like gold helmets for command and fight for veterans. Oh my guys. Exactly, you do you, man. If it looks cool, then do it. Good afternoon, sellers. How you doing it? But yeah, the lines have been muddied so much on the helmets. Like, I would not have thought Games Workshop would paint Aggressors with blue helmets. So they think Aggressors are fire support. I don't think I buy that, because they're kind of like a melee unit. power fists and flamers. I don't think aggressors are a fire support unit. I just don't, I guess. I'd be more likely to paint my aggressors red or black or yellow helmets. Definitely not blue though. Lionheart says I can't decide if we can focus on Ultramarines or Blood Angels. Well, do you see any Ultramarines Commander on YouTube? No. So why would you be considering that? We've got the better community, man. No, I'm just fucking with you. Thing is, what can Ultramarines do that Blood Angels can't have? I mean, they've got Gilliman. Whoop-de-doo. I bet you the last season, or the last year of this edition, we can run Gilliman again. Because they did that last edition. I bet you they let us run Gilliman. We get Calgar and Tiggy. I mean, Calgar is pretty nice. I hope when Dante gets some sort of bodyguard specific unit, he gets something equivalent of the Victrix Guard, because I do think the Victrix Guard are super cool. I like the rules for like squadding up as well. I think that's dope. So yeah, okay, I'll give you it. Calgar's pretty cool. I do think they will let us use Gilliman again before this edition's out, though. I bet you the last month of the season, or the last... Sorry, not the last month. The last 6 months of the season, we'll get to use Gilliman and all that as Blood Angels. Because they would have let you run the Lion last edition as well, yeah? Hello, my puppy. I actually really enjoyed the Arcs of Omen season. Like, it was a good way to test some things out. It was a good way to just... people get sort of burnt out at the end of the season. At the end of the 3-year cycle or whatnot. So I thought that the Arc of Omen season was really good, actually, for like keeping people engaged and getting people to keep wanting to play, I guess. So does anyone else except me run Sons of Sanguinius this week? Did anyone try the new +2 strength rule? Do you like it? Stardust says I need to try the Brutalis Dreadnought. Do you know what? I probably do. My Brutalis Dreadnought is still in his sprue. So, that's really bad because I've had him probably for like 9 months. Tell you what, when I finish building my heavy intercessors, when I finish painting these guys, and they are progressing reasonably well, I guess. They are finally getting to a point where like we're doing shading on them, so that's a positive. When I finish these guys, the next unit I'll do is I'll make a Brutalis Dreadnought. I think I want to paint him. Probably gonna paint him black, I guess, like the Death Company Dreadnought. That'll look scary on the tabletop, right? So maybe what we'll do is we'll paint a Brutalis Dreadnought. We'll build a Brutalis Dreadnought. I do have a second Ballistus Dreadnought that I made that I didn't get any paint on yet either, so maybe I can throw some paint on the Ballistus too. Because I do actually think there'll be some strength in potential double Ballistus. I haven't run double Ballistus much myself. I think I maybe ran it one time. But I do think Ballistus Dreadnoughts are very cheap for what they give. So I kind of dig the Ballistus Dreadnoughts. Especially like if you're trying to keep a lot of points Like, as a Blood Angels player, you're trying to keep a lot of points to put into jump units and stuff like that. And I feel like there's worse units you could spend your shooting points of your army on than Ballistus Dreadnoughts. I think that would work. Sardo says he's painting a black Brutalis. Yeah, it is a cool model. Hello Phil, how you doing? Flowbrain's in the house as well. What's happening, Flowbrain? Do you think they'll phase out the Death Company Dreadnought and replace them with the Brutalis? I feel like they might phase out some more of the Firstborn stuff. When or where or what the reasoning is I mean, like, none of us can know, I guess. But yeah, there's a chance they will continue to phase out Firstborn stuff. I imagine by 11th edition there won't be much left in Firstborn. Oh. Robert says he's going to try out Outriders at 80 points. I did want to try out the 80 point Outriders. Would you ever attach a chaplain to them, Robert, or you think that'd just be crazy? So we've got 3 days left on the raffle, by the way, guys. If anyone did not get a raffle ticket yet, there's 3 days left on it. Let me put the link in the chat one last time. I was going to say, I probably won't mention the raffle again after today, maybe. But yeah, I do have a raffle going on at the moment where you can win one of the special edition Black Library books. It is the Sanguinius one. I actually have it here. It's this one. It is a gorgeous book. This isn't the copy you're winning. The copy you're winning is brand new, sealed and still wrapped in the tissue paper, but this is my copy of the book. And it opens up like so, and then the book slides out. Very cool, right? The pages are all gold and everything. I don't know how well you can see that from that camera, maybe you can see it better on this one. See all the golden, the glorious golden boy and golden pages. So if you haven't bought a raffle ticket for the Sanguinius book, you've got like 48 more hours. They cost £1. You could win it. 100% of the money is going to charity. 80 points seems good for toughness 5. Yeah, it's 12 wounds as well. You know, 12 wounds, toughness 5, 85 points. And if they advance, they get that auto advance of 6 inches. So arguably, like, if you think about it, Burgosaurus, you could just take the 80 point bikes, put them on the flank on turn 1, and then just advance them 18 inches onto an objective. Yeah, if they die before they get to do much, who cares, I guess, if they scored you a bunch of points and they were, you know, like if they scored you actually like victory points and they only cost 80 points, like maybe that's all they need to do. I don't know. I do want to try a squad of Outriders, and I think I've got 6 actually that are like all half painted. I was painting my Outriders in Death Company colours, and I was trying to freehand the X's onto the side of them to just make them look really cool. But then when the rules sucked for like 4 or 5 years now, I guess, I just haven't been motivated to do anything with them. That's usually how my painting goes. If a unit sucks, then my motivation for painting it is rubbish. I actually think Heavy Intercessors are a great unit. They've been MVP for me in games. They're just obnoxiously durable and sometimes against 1 damage weapons on objectives. So I need... So I'm, you know... I'm painting the heavy intercessors anyway, but I was motivated to paint these guys because I was like, these guys are great. Do so much work for me in games. Good afternoon, Sean. Make a tiny stencil. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could make a tiny stencil. I want to get better at freehanding though, so that's kind of why I was freehanding the X's on. Because I feel like my general brush control has just continued to improve over the last few years. Have you gone against a competitive Ultramarine list? I'd be interested to see a game with Blood Angels using the new Suns detachment against the Gladius Ultramarine army. I'm trying to remember the last time I played Ultramarines. I think it was at a tournament, like, towards the end of 9th edition. So no, I haven't played them in 10th, I don't think. But I'm sure the last time I played them, I ate them alive. Like, I made a bunch of long-range charges with, like, death companies and sanguinary guards and stuff and just completely crucified them. This Deathwing art makes me really think we're getting new Chaos Terminators. I think every faction's going to get new models, right? Because they always want to sell new models. I was watching Valrak the other night, and he was basically saying that he thinks every new big release for 10th edition, so like every Codex release, like, you know, the Tau got their Kroot box set, the Dark Angels got their box set, he thinks every edition, or sorry, he thinks every army this edition is going to get some sort of box set type release with their codex. So everybody's getting new models to buy with their codex. I don't know if he's right, but I mean, Valrak has a real nasty habit of getting all the lower, sorry, not all the lower, all the early release data right, doesn't he? Blood Buffalo says the +2 has made Terminator Teleport Homer awesome. Sorry, Blood Buffalo, I'm not quite understanding your question. The +2 has made Teleport Homer awesome? I was going to say, I'm surprised some units like Suppressors just got left to languish. Reavers get left to languish. Every single balance data slate. Reavers and Suppressors. They're like the two worst units and they never get any love. I don't understand it at all. I guess if you're a big Phobos lover of those units, you're screwed. They never get any love. I mean, the free rapid ingress with Terminators has always been good. Ever since they made the Teleport Homer cost no points, right? I'm still a little bit surprised that the guy that did the best at LVO with Blood Angels ran Terminators though. Like, we've talked a lot on the channel about how we don't think Terminators are very good. How do you think he made those Terminators work in his list at LVO? I mean, they must have been inside the Redeemer, but what's the play? You know, like Shamefist Terminators inside a Redeemer? You take them centerboard and hope the enemy are going to put some vehicles centerboard? Like, is that legitly strong and I'm an idiot for not realizing how strong it was earlier? But if I'm the idiot, then I guess we've got a lot of people that are, because like barely anyone runs Terminators. Like when we get army lists submitted on the army list show, it's very few and far between, I feel like, that Blood Angels lists are like bursting out with Terminators. Usually you see none. I was going to say that very occasionally you might see a squad. Rizal says, how are good enough to perform an off-meta move with the Terminators? I mean, I guess. And that's probably why I ran Terminators in 9th quite a lot, right? Because, like, they were never meta for Blood Angels, but if you've got a use and you've got a plan for a unit, and you know exactly what you want that unit to do, then, and it fits fits a hole in your list, then maybe screw the meta, right? I like seeing lists that aren't carbon copies like that do well. That's more exciting to me than, like, you know, like, if you think of World Eaters, like 90% of lists, maybe not so much now, post-patch, but before the patch, like 90% of World Eaters lists are going to be like Angron, 2 units 8 bound, 2 units of Exalted 8 bound, you know. I prefer it when people have to think and come up with their own lists. I think it's better for the game, and honestly I think it's a bit more fun as well. Hello, Panda Man. Terminator should be better in first company. I mean, they are a little bit, but I don't think many people are running first company. Like, it hasn't proved. I'd have to actually see some win rates for first company. I don't think I've seen any. Like, player uptake and win rates. Michael, thank you so much for subscribing. We're only like 10 subscribers away now from, is it 3,900? No, 13,900. That'll be super cool. I'm hoping to get to 15,000 this year. 5 subscribers away from 3.9k. Or 13.9k, sorry. So, if you're here and you're watching and you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. First company is amazing enhancements and stratagems, but a useless detachment rule. Yeah, I think they should change the detachment rule. I'm surprised they didn't, actually. My buddy's picking up the Dark Angels box and we're probably going to do a build day. Man, I can't wait until my kids are a little bit older and I can do stuff like a build day or a whole day hobby stream or something, you know? I just haven't been able to do that for years, it seems like. Has to be in these silly little blocks of hobbiness. Even now, while I'm sat here on my like 1 hour, 1.5 hour hobby, I can still hear the kids downstairs and my wife melting down. Just hear like screaming like, "Don't punch your sister!" My 2-year-old's got a thing for punching at the moment. Like, I just went through this morning, he's just like straight up punching her on the arm, like trying to give her a dead arm. I was like, Michael, don't punch. Like, the silliest, most obvious things, like don't hit your sister. But yeah. I'll be glad when they're grown older, and then I can just hobby and not have to worry about solving like a domestic abuse case between the two of them downstairs every 10 minutes. So my plan with these guys is to continue this all, basically recess washing the whole model with Aggressors shade. And then once I've done that, I'm going to come back with Evil Sun Scarlet. Tidy up all the mistakes, tidy up everywhere that the wash has run where I don't want it to run. And then I'm going to probably get on to maybe some highlights and the guns, and then I'm getting close with these guys. Todd says he desperately wants Terminators to be good. Yeah, they're so iconic, man. I think everybody wants Terminators to be good, right? I remember the first time I got like my little 5-man squad of metal Terminators, how excited I was. I mean, they're very small compared to what they are now.
I have awoken.
Boxing gloves, yes. I need to put boxing gloves on them. That's a great idea. Julian, thank you so much for becoming a member. Appreciate it. Please make sure you link up your Discord account to your YouTube account, and then you get into our members only Discord room. But I mean, if you're not using the Discord, you should, because a lot of people use it. It's a very good resource. And hey, sometimes I pick ideas from Discord for videos. I did that like last week, and just look in there's a video suggestion room, I believe. And if I'm completely stuck for a weekly tactics video, I'll go and look at what people suggested. I've got quite a lot of options for tactics videos at the moment. There's quite a lot of like positive discussion going on about the Sons of Sanguinius for the first time in a while. You should download Discord. You can put it on your phone if you don't want it on your computer. I've got it on my work PC, my home PC, and my phone. I think it's a good resource to have, Discord. There's always somebody to talk to about something in it. How do you use Evil Sun Scarlet instead of Mephiston Red for base coats? How come? Well, just because I started doing Blood Angels way back in the 90s, man. And if you go back and look at any of the art from the 90s Warhammer books, everything was a lot brighter. It didn't really get... It wasn't really grim dark in the first edition. I know they say, like, whatever they say, like, in the grim darkness of the far future there was only war, but if you actually go and look at the old pictures and the old models, they were way brighter. In fact, I believe, if you go all the way back, because the paints got renamed at some point, Iggy, and the paint, Evil Sun Scarlet, actually used to be called Blood Red. And that was basically the colour that you painted Blood Angels back in the day. You painted them blood red. And then at some point, I'm trying to remember when they renamed the paints. I think it was like 7th edition or something, they renamed all the paints. And like, so before then, I don't even think Mephiston Red existed. So Mephiston Red probably got released originally about 2010, maybe slightly before that. When? Someone in chat's going to know the dates better than I do. When was Mephiston Red actually released? So before that, like I said, I actually, like, someone made a colour match palette where it was like you had all your old colours, and these were the names of the new paints. And Blood Red, I believe, became Evil Sun Scarlet, right? Velwyn's going to start painting a tank soon. Nolan says I prefer contrast ball red on a white primer. It's just the perfect bright shade of red. I haven't used ball red. The only contrast paint I own is the Blood Angels one. I don't do a lot of contrast painting, I guess, because I want my models to typically match what I've been doing for years, I guess. So my guys are probably 10-20% brighter than most Blood Angels players because I use Evil Sun Scarlet, but I honestly think that it's fine to take a bit of liberty with your paint jobs. And do you know what? In Death Company, I'll use Mephiston Red actually. I tend to make my Death Company guys look a little bit more darker. So, but I mean, Evil Sun Scarlet, once you put a lot of Agrax over top of it, it does darken down quite a lot. It's just a lazy way to do it, I guess, because this way I don't need to do any edge highlighting. I just recess wash everything, and then just tidy up some of the recess, some of the bits. So yeah, the paint scheme is, you figure your own paint scheme out. Handyman says, I really want to run 3 times Jump Intercessors, 2 times Foot and Assault units, 10 Death Company with Lamartus, throw Sanguinary, Priest or Chaplain. The issue with running that many infantry, I find, is like Toughness 4 infantry die so quick at the moment. I mean, Death Company with Lamartus and -1 damage don't die quick, because they have both the Feel No Pain and the -1 damage. But it feels like regular T4 Marines just die really quickly, even if they're hidden. You know, against Guard the other night, he's just killing all my Toughness 4 Marines with indirect artillery all game, every game. Or, sorry, all game, every turn. I'm just, like, I was just losing everything. Anything that's T4 is just getting picked up because of the indirect artillery fire. Like, all that stuff is dead. Every turn it's just dead. Anything. And I honestly wonder if Imperial Guard need like 48 inches and all that indirect fire, but I guess they do. Frank says, yay for Evil Suns, mine are bright like 2nd edition Marines. Yes, even GW doesn't use pure Mephiston Red, they're 50-50 Mephiston Red and Evil Sun, says Atlas. I think I've seen a couple of Games Workshop ones that are just pure Mephiston Red, but they do, like, the Games Workshop one, they do like 3 levels of highlighting, don't they? So they'll do Mephiston Red, and then they'll highlight with like Evil Sun Scarlet, and then they'll highlight again with something like Wild Rider Red even. So I don't do any highlighting on my battle line red guys. I just do this wash, and then I just tidy up the wash. Because obviously when it's a wash, it can run into places you don't want it to run. And it doesn't take too long to tidy them up. I think it's always worth tidying up the washes. Rizzo says, you finally converted me to Lamartus and 10, and yeah, probably going to stick with 10 Lamartus for a little while. Even if we go back to Gladius, I'll probably stick with that. I think I'm going to run a 2nd squad res with the Chaplain and 5 though, because I just think that Chaplain and 5 squad is really strong as well. So I guess like Mephiston, sorry, not Mephiston. Why am I on Mephiston? Lamartus plus 10, and then a Chaplain plus 5. Because I think Blood Angels are stronger if you include a good amount of melee units, but I also think it's pretty hard to find the right melee units at the moment. Possibly out with Death Company, because they're the only unit that gets like well, not just 2 damage weapons, 3 damage weapons as well it's good against. Because on a 3 damage weapon, it becomes 2, and then you roll your 2 Feel No Pains, and if you roll a single 6, then all of a sudden that 3 damage weapon only did 1 damage, right? 2 Scoops basically just said in the chat exactly what I just said out loud. Look at that, great minds, 2 Scoops. Have you considered getting an airbrush? It would speed up the base coating stage. I usually use rattle cans for base coating, but yeah, here's the thing, I've got nowhere to do airbrushing. Like, you can't see this room all that much because there's the green screen behind me, but this room is like a disaster of stuff. Like, I just have so much stuff in here. I've actually been like going through my wardrobes and like selling old clothes. So maybe I need to go through this room and sell a bunch of stuff, but at the moment this room's packed with stuff that I've been, like, I'm 40 this year. So I've been collecting video games and board games and Warhammer models for like 25 years at this point. That's why I was selling a bunch of my clothes out. So we moved into this house 2 years ago, and I went through my wardrobe and basically said to my wife, like, anything that I have not worn since I moved in this house, so we moved in this house like 2.5 years ago, I was like, I'm just gonna sell. Because I found this new website that sells like really nice shirts, like flannel shirts that I really like. So I was like, I'm just gonna sell all my old clothes and buy some more flannel, like upgrade my wardrobe with something I prefer. So I probably need to do the same in here. If I did that, then maybe you could get an airbrush. But I think I would rather, if I was doing an airbrush, I believe it needs to be well ventilated, and I don't really have a great spot that would be well ventilated for airbrushing. I mean, rattle cans have always worked for me. Yeah, maybe it's not the fastest thing in the world, but it has always worked for me. Tezza, hello, how's it been? A little while since we've seen you, Tezza. How, John? Can you catch me up in your game on Wednesday? How did you do? I think the MVP was probably the Death Company with Lamartez. Like, they just killed so much stuff. He didn't really have an answer for them. What else did well? The Redeemer was pretty good into this game. I liked the Redeemer. I've been trying to get a bit of practice with the Land Raider Redeemer. The Vindicators always do work. They're not as strong in the Sons of Sanguinius detachment as they are in Gladius, obviously, because you don't get advance and shoot. But Vindicator tanks always perform well. So the Vindicators are like very staple. The Infiltrators are actually pretty handy because obviously Deep Strike Denial, and I've not been playing with Deep Strike Denial this edition. So it was nice to get some of that back into the mix. Death Company were MVP. I didn't really get to try out the Blade Guard because they died pretty quickly. The Death Company Dreadnought really didn't get to do too much. The Calidus Assassin did quite a lot. But yeah, I mean, I think I was carried in this game very much by the 10 Death Company, probably. It's hard to make a full sort of assessment, having only played one game of Sons of Sanguinius. But do you know what? I don't know who the hell I'm playing this week. I'll find out. I'll try and find someone to play me on Wednesday. And I feel like I need to get a few more games of Sons of Sanguinius under my belt, and then maybe I could do a video on that, like how it feels to return to Sons of Sanguinius after having to sort of like a 6 months forced hiatus because Gladius was just too good, right? Oh, don't mention the Sanguinor. Oh, the Sanguinor completely failed this week, but hey, you know, DTM said to me, he's like, it's kind of like new model syndrome. You don't typically play the Sanguinor, so the first time you're going to play him, maybe he was going to fail, and he did fail, but I don't think I'm going to not run him again. He failed really badly, but you know, every unit has bad dice rolls now and then. So I need to give him a few more games and see if we can get, like, you know, maybe he failed super hard this week, maybe next week he performs really, really well, and then I can see both sides of the coin, so to speak. And one of the reasons I want to run the Sanguinor, I guess, is that video I made yesterday where it was like, the guy who went 6-0 at LVO with Blood Angels was running Sanguinor. I honestly do not think I will ever in my life manage to go 6-0 at LVO. I mean, I can't even do 6-0 at a little local tournament, right? So I think if you manage to do 6-0, at LVO, then I think I need And I think like I just need to give him more of a chance, because I think 6-0 at LVO is kind of amazing. Kevin says if you like flannels, you got to splurge on the Lavarian thick wool flannel. I've never heard of that brand. The brand I've been buying of is called Dixon with a double X. Lavarian flannel. They look nice. They look similar to the Dixon ones. Maybe the Dixon one might actually be a little bit nicer. Oh, they do look nice actually. Well, I've just fallen in love with this Dixon brand, Kevin. I don't know if you've seen them, but I think they're awesome. Yeah, the Sanguinius did take an entire Dorn to the face. Here's the thought behind the Sanguinius. I haven't played against the Rogel Dorns all that much. I know that they get a lot of shots, but I guess I forgot how many 3 damage shots they get and how much Overwatch potential that has. So I think on another day, having played against Guard again with more Rogel Dorns, and having used the Sanguinius another time, I think I would have probably tried to move him into cover so he couldn't have been shot by the Rogel Dorn. Because I probably could have made a charge out of cover. It would have added like 1 inch to the charge. It wouldn't have been the end of the world. I just honestly wasn't expecting Overwatch. So the Sanguinius dying is kind of my own fault. And you live and you learn. Sometimes, hey, if I didn't do that in a random ass game, then maybe in the tournament I don't do it, right? Robert says he thinks he could achieve 0 wins, 6 losses. I think you could do better than that, Robert. Have we heard anything from Sam P? I haven't spoken to Sam P for a while. I don't know if he's... I actually haven't looked at his YouTube channel for a while either. Has he been putting out content? Bud Buffalo says I play guard and face it often in my local meta. You got to be ready for traps, especially if you're trying a new detachment. Morning, Mark. How you doing? Why you only get 4 hours sleep? What are you doing? Man, the lowest I can usually get away with is like 6, maybe 5.5. If I get much less than like 5.5 hours sleep, it's either going to be a day of coffees or a day of me falling asleep. You stayed up all night? What were you up all night for? You... But no, I want to play a few more games of Sons of Sanguinius because it felt really fun. And I think that was the main thing, is like, for years I've played Blood Angels as a melee army, and I've loved them as a melee army. I'm going to have to go AFK, 1 second. Sorry, I'm having a 4-year-old tantrum. Oh, watching YouTube and building models for an RTT. When's your RTT, Mark? It is the family falling to the red thirst, yeah. They may as well, the 2-year-olds and 4-year-olds may as well just be running around the house shouting Horus. Hello. Almost finally got rid of this cough. That's from like last Wednesday or something, like ridiculous. Apparently there's like a new virus going around in Scotland that's like, they don't even know what it is. It's just like this really bad. They thought it was like a bad strain of influenza, but like it's been kicking people's ass here. Like it all seems to be like in a post-COVID world where people weren't mixing as much. Now there always just seems to be something crazy going on. Sam was pretty I don't know if Sam P was at LVO. Probably. I know Stephen was at LVO, but Stephen, I believe, was playing Black Templars. I don't actually know how he got on. I just know he was playing Black Templars because I was asking someone. I was like, was he playing Blood Angels? And they're like, no, I think he was playing Templars. Someone actually asked Stephen if he thought that the changes to Blood Angels were good enough changes to make the detachment viable, and he said no. So, but maybe he's thinking about it from a view of like purely running like Death Company and Sanguinary Guard. So I've always like played Blood Angels over the last few years a little bit different, right? Like including Terminators, for example, including Blade Guard, including Centurions. You know, like although I play Blood Angels as a melee faction, I do bring units, more units than just 30 Sanguinary Guard. And I know a lot of people do like to just bring those giant, overwhelming numbers of Sanguinary Guard, but that's never really been my style, I guess. The most like, if I think about the times that I've run the most of the same unit, it was like during the end of 9th edition. You remember there was that time when we had the detachment. Oh, it wasn't the detachment, it was like the secondaries, the Death Company secondaries. We had Fury of the Lost, which was like when you killed units with Death Company, or when your Death Company died, and there was I can't remember the other secondary. But there was basically like 2 secondaries that you could run by having like a lot of Death Company units in your list. And when I think of like an army list where I ran a lot of the same units, it was definitely that one. Where it was just like, okay, I can just run a load of Death Company and do the Death Company secondaries. And that seems really fun. The +2 strength helps for breakpoints with chaplains and captains. It certainly does, because you'll be able to wound really high toughness vehicles now, or high toughness monsters on 4s, I believe, with stuff like Blade Guard. So I think that the +2 certainly helps. Whether or not it helps enough to make us competitive, but I think it might help enough to get us out of that 45% win rate bracket. I think it might help enough to move us up a little bit. It was also fun, and I guess that's there's got to be some weighting on fun, because like when I started Warhammer, I started it because it was fun. I didn't start it to win tournaments, or didn't start it to just purely play for tournaments. I started it to hang out with my friends and have fun. So if it's fun, if the detachment is fun, then maybe we can overlook a little bit of it being weaker to a certain extent. Like if you really want to go to a tournament and you want to do really well, then you still have the option of running Gladius. I think Gladius's Blood Angels is good. I was saying for a while, like before I went to the GT that I did pretty well at, I was saying like I think someone can win a GT with Gladius Blood Angels. Like I think that's a thing that can happen. Like I think it's a strong enough detachment to win a GT. And then the fact that the guy went to LVO and went 6-0 with Gladius Blood Angels, I think it would probably be harder to go 6-0 at LVO than it is to win like a small GT, right? No one here was an LVO, so I think somebody was, Cal. There's a guy who watches the channel sometimes called Cal. He was at LVO. There's probably somebody else. I imagine there'll be somebody else at LVO from the channel, or a few others, right? Like, I must admit that after this year's LVO, I did start looking at like flight costs and hotel costs to go, because I was watching the painting phase, and obviously the painting guys from the painting phase were at LVO, and when they were talking about it, I was like, man, I know I've wanted to go to LVO for a while, but I've never really started putting money away or thinking about it seriously. So I was like, starting to look at like how much money would it cost for me to go to LVO. I think it would be about 3,000 UK. Then I would need money for food and transport when I'm there. So 4,000, I guess. Maybe one day. It's quite a lot of money. Would be cool though. Mark says there are some sexy heavy intercessors. Yeah, these guys were... I did some little conversion bits and bobs to them, right? Like this guy's got this thing from like a Blood Angels upgrade sprue. And this is I think this is a Terminator shoulder pad I put on this guy. So, I tried to give them a little bit of Blood Angels flavour. Thanks, Mark. Frank says go to LVO, it's not far from me yet. Vegas hotels are cheap. The flight from Scotland, I think, would be about 1,300–1,400. And then the hotel for like 5 days is about probably 1,000. I'd like to go though, I would. I just don't know when. And I mean, I could save the money. Like, I'm very good at saving money. Because I don't do a lot of things. Like I do enjoy having like an alcoholic beverage, but like I probably go to the pub like twice a year. So it's not like I spend my money in the pub every weekend or anything like that. Mark's going to LVO next year. Cool. We really want to see Penn and Teller. Yeah, Penn and Teller they're like the residents, or they have a residency in Las Vegas now, right? Yeah, I think that's the thing though. If we go all the way to Las Vegas, you probably want like a couple extra days to not just be like, I'm here for my Warhammer tournament, go home. But yeah, maybe one day. We're actually having a GT. We're supposed to be setting up a Blood Angels Commander GT here in Scotland this summer. Andrew keeps asking me to confirm a date. I need to hurry up and think about a date. But if anyone's in Scotland, we're going to have a GT up here, like local to me, like a BAC GT this year. I think it could be reasonably popular, I don't know. Like the raffle's doing way better than I thought it would, so I guess quite a lot of Warhammer players in the UK, some of them might come. We'll see if we can get a date like in the next month or something, so that we've got like a plan for the BAC GT. Hopefully not we do a BAC GT, hopefully it's not just like 20 Blood Angels lists. That'd be funny though. I actually don't have that much experience playing Blood Angels versus Blood Angels. I think I played one game last year, Blood Angels versus Blood Angels. I'm pretty sure I won it, but it's not a matchup that I often get to play, right? Do a Blood Angels tournament in Buffalo, New York. I mean, I was gonna say it cost me $1,000 to get to Buffalo, man. Scotland are beating up the Wales. It's funny, quite a lot of Scottish people are very passionate about rugby. My father was very passionate about rugby. I don't really care all that much for rugby. I actually prefer American football, probably, truth be told, than rugby. That's probably heresy to say. But yeah, I think if I had the choice of American football and rugby, and one sport could stay and one sport has to be lost forever, I would keep American football. Because I know all the rules for American football. I think, well, I mean, the game's changed a lot, and there's always new rules, but like, I followed American football since I was like 10. Not hardcore, but followed it enough where I know the rules, and my puppy says it's absolute heresy. Sorry, my puppy. Super Bowl is next week. I'd kind of forgotten that. What, next Sunday, huh? The problem with the Super Bowl, the problem with the Super Bowl really is the time. Like, I can only really ever watch the first half in the UK because it's just too late. It usually kicks off at like half midnight, or sorry, not half midnight, half 11 or midnight is usually the kickoff time. So usually, like, in the second half is always longer than the first because you always get all the timeouts and the stuff. So usually like half times come into like 1 AM. Well, I gotta be up for work at like 7. Sorry, half time's coming up at like 1:30. So for a bunch of years I would watch the first half of the Super Bowl and then I'd watch the halftime show and then I'd go to bed. You like the blue cabling? Neat choice. Yeah, it's a bit strange that heavy bolters have moved away from like an ammo line to a cable, but that's what it is. Who have I got in the Super Bowl? I tell you a cool bet that I used to do every single Super Bowl. And it does occasionally happen, and you can get 50 to 1 on it. what I used to bet every single Super Bowl, because I could only watch the first half, right? So I didn't want to put on a bet where I wouldn't know the outcome of the bet because I'd have to go to sleep. So for a bunch of years, every single Super Bowl, I would bet on the kickoff being returned for a touchdown. And they'll give you, at least in the UK, they give you 50 to 1 on the opening kickoff being returned for a touchdown. You know, like in a... Is that what they call it? Like, in a single play. You know, like the boy catches it on the 20-yard line or the 10-yard line, and then he just runs all the way and scores. It's like a very exciting bet for like 5 seconds, because sometimes they don't get very far. But sometimes they, you know, if they get over the halfway line and they get some momentum going, then occasionally, I think I went back like a decade. So like 2007 maybe, 2008, 2009, there was 2 returns within 3 years. So like, I can't remember which teams it was, but it was it was middle of 2000s. Happened in 2007, the Bears ran it back. Okay, so I don't remember if it was just 2 years after that or 2 years before that, Kevin, but another team ran it back as well. So it's like if you'd bet 50 to 1 on those 2 years and you just bet a tenner on it, you would get £500 back. Now I saw... Yes, sweetheart?
Can she...
What you got on her head?
A gem.
Why she got a gem on her head?
Be screwed on so good.
Oh no.
Because it keeps...
Do you want to show everybody that's watching her gem on her head?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, if you put your gem on the head under here, now look at the screen up there. Look! What is it?
It's Gabby.
It's Gabby from her dollhouse with a gem on her head. Alright, well, Daddy will come play in like, what's the time? 10 minutes and I'll come play with you, okay? Are you having fun with that camera now, are you? Go through and I'll see you in 10 minutes. Yeah, so if you if you're willing to bet big on a return, you can get like 50 to 1. But I mean, like I said, like when I bet on the kick return, it was based on the fact that it happened twice in 3 years, and I was like, oh, this is a pretty good bet, because also the bet finishes in the first half. So if you're like me in the UK and you have to go to sleep at halftime, you can't watch the whole game, at least you know if you've won your bet or not, right? But every single year that I've bet on kick return, because I've bet on it a bunch of years now, like I want to say I've bet on it like 5 times. I'll come and see you. Yeah. You get out here, I'll come and see you in a minute, okay?
Yeah. I wanna...
You want to put it under the camera as well? Who's this guy?
It's Gabby and she...
And what's she got on her?
Cat.
A coot cat, okay. Yeah, you'll be ready for modelling in a few years' time, I'm sure. Hey, you laugh, man, but I'm gonna have to go play Lego Duplo for like an hour after this. Excuse me. Yeah, so kick return. Throw how, you know, $10, 50 to 1. If you put $100 on it, you win $5 grand. And I swear to you, I don't remember which year it was, but one of those years we're talking about where there was a kick return, I saw on Twitter or like Facebook, like a post that some guy literally had put like £1,000 on the kick return, or $1,000 rather, on the kick return in a year that it happened. So he made 50 grand on the kick return, or yeah, it would have been 50 grand, wouldn't it? So that's a cool bet to make. I'm not advocating you bet 50 grand on it, but I guess it's a cool bet if you were struggling. Give them a brush. I was actually going to buy a little wooden Star Wars figure that I saw on Amazon. Sweetheart, I'm going to come and see you in a few minutes, okay?
She's got a banana on her head.
She's got a banana on her head. Show me a banana on the head. Show it in the camera. What is she doing with a banana on her head?
It's a flat like a banana.
It's a plait.
Yeah, like a banana.
Okay. Are you gonna learn to paint with me soon? Yeah. Yeah, no, I was gonna pick up one of the board games that I don't care so much about and just spray the models and get them learning to paint. Because the earlier that they learn, the better that they'll be by the time they're an adult or whatnot, right? So, yeah, I've got 5 minutes here. I'm obviously gonna have to go spend a bit of time with the kids. I'm gonna play Sons of Sanguinius this Wednesday, though, for sure. And it's going to be something pretty similar to what I ran this week, because I think that seems decent. The 10 Death Company with Lamartes is a core, the Land Raider Redeemer with some sort of melee unit inside it, probably Blade Guard, as a, hey, I'm going to take the center objective. Everybody's saying that you are too cute. What have you got now? Show me.
Ice cream.
Show me on the camera. What is it? What is it?
An ice cream.
Why has she got an ice cream on her head?
Cause it's a big ball.
It's a big ball ice cream on her head.
Yeah.
Alright. Alright, I think I'm gonna have to go, guys. Thank you so much for watching this afternoon.
What's Spiderhead?
Spiderhead. I will be back tomorrow night for the Armulus show. I should say, I don't know if I've had that many submissions for Armulus for tomorrow with the new points. So if you've built an army, like a Sun's army, or even for one of the other detachments, but if you've built an army using the new rules or using the new points costs, I guess, feel free to send it over to me, and I'll try and I'll get you. If I don't get you on the show this week, I'll get you on the show next week. Ardeen picked up a big coloured wheel for her goddaughter. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to pick up something for them, haven't I? Because I do want them to. I think Warhammer is a very wholesome hobby. And also, if they're playing Warhammer, then I'll know where they are. You know, that's what I always say to my wife. It's like, if I'm out playing Warhammer, at least you know where I am. I'm not at a pub or something. You know, I'm just at a shop or something playing Warhammer. Alright, I think we're there with this. What have you brought this time, sweetheart? Show me then on the camera. What is it?
Cupcake.
She's got a cupcake on her head. What's she doing with a cupcake on her head?
Hey, you'll be something sillier.
Yeah, I'll see something sillier. Alright guys, have a great day. Thanks so much for hanging out. I'm glad you guys enjoyed yesterday's video. Leave a like on the stream if you don't mind. I'll see yous tomorrow night, 8 PM Armulus show. And like I said, it's the last chance to buy your raffle ticket if you haven't done it. The raffle ends in 2 days. Let me see if I can just put up the final where we are with the raffle. We have, how do I see this again? We've done just over 1,000, almost gonna hit 1,100 bucks on the raffle. Oh, it's gone away, sweetheart. I'll bring it back for you. There it is. What's she got her head now?
A dolphin.
Oh, okay. Daddy's gonna come play. Alright? Say bye-bye to everybody. Bye. Bye. We'll see you guys soon. Have a nice day.
I don't know where all this weird thing happened.